What is going on, everyone? It is Foul Play here, and here I am today. I'm going to play a Blue-White Bogles League. Now, I've done something that I said for a very, very long time that I did not want to do. Mostly because at the moment I've been having a bit of time grinding for tickets and things like that. The power level of my decks, I feel, has been a little bit underneath what the metagame has been doing. So I've gone out and I've managed to get an extra couple of forced negations. Now, I did actually rent these from Mana Traders, so I signed up to their subscription service, done all of that. Also picked up these Brazen Borrowers over here. I've got an extra surgical too to play with. I'll pick up Brazen Borrower. This is like Ensnaring Bridge Hate with like a creature body as well. So that's pretty sweet. Other than that, yep. Alright, so deck-wise, it's going to be mostly what my regulars are familiar with. Same standard land base. We've got 6 fetches, 4 of which are Flooded Strand, the other 2 Windswept Heaths. We've got the full 4 Hallowed Fountains. We've got the 3 basics, the full 4 Seachrome Coasts, and a 2 of Attica Waste as well. Just to minimize on fetching a little bit, sort of also simulate what it would be like to have a Blue-White Horizon land as well, experimentally. That and like fetch targets, I guess we've got 7 fetch targets for 6 fetches, so we should always be able to fetch a land, hopefully. Alright, so only 8 creatures in this list. I was running a couple of Core Spirit Dancers at one point of time, but I have decided to scrap those ones. So like aura-wise, I've also actually decided to scrap my my Arcane Flights as well. So I've got the full 4 Ethereal Armor, the 4 Hyena Umbra, the 4 Curious Obsession, and the 4 Daybreak Coronet. And I've got the 3 Aqueous Form, the 3 Staggering Insights, 2 Sentinel's Eyes, 1 Cartouche of Solidarity, and 1 Spirit Mantle. So I had like a 2-2 split between Aqueous Form and Arcane Flight, but I've gone ahead and removed that, and now just rocking the 3 over here. Added in an extra Path to Exile in the main deck as well, and removed my Stubborn Denials. So we've got, 6 non-creature spells over there. Sideboard wise, we've got the 3rd Path to Exile. We've got a couple of Surgical Extractions. I'm rocking 2 Suppression Fields because I think they have a chance to be okay at the moment. They do affect a lot of decks. Still testing Tail's End, suggested to us by Hiso on the comment section on YouTube. So this is a replacement for Trickbind, which can also counter legendary spells as well. So that should be pretty sweet. So it can counter like a Planeswalker, legendary creature, stuff along those lines. Torpor Orb as well as a 2 of, Brazen Borrower as a 2 of. I wanted to pick up this card for a while, but I've been like limited on tickets. So it's really, really good to not be in that situation anymore. And of course, our Leyline of Sanctity. Just gonna take this deck into a league and hopefully it makes some splashes. Alright, so here we are for match number 1. We lost the die roll. That means we're going to be on the draw. This hand looks absolutely fantastic, though. We've got lots of card draw on it. We're going to keep. Opponent with a Triomes, so I guess they're on a little bit of a slower deck. We find Windswept Heath over there. I think mostly we should be fine just fetching a basic island here, conserving our life potentially, and thinning the deck as well. We've got plenty of blue auras to cast next turn, so that should all work okay for us. Alright, so we find another land. Opponent is on Mardu colors. Well, Mardu is like the worst possible deck for us to be versing, in my opinion, because they run... what's the damn card called? Oath of Kaya, which is really, really good against us. So you're just going to use these Curious Obsessions. We're going to try and get some card draw happening here. hopefully draw some counter magic for if we come up against Oath of Kaya. And hopefully we find just like a secondary creature. Alright, finding some removals not too bad. We're pretty land flood at this point though. Could be unfortunate. Alright, still no action from our opponent. Let's just go ahead and attack initially like this. Maybe I can play a mana source beforehand to represent force of negation. Really, they're just letting this resolve. It's pretty interesting to me. I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay passing. I'll load my auras up next turn. We've already got like plenty of mana sources out, so discarding's not too bad. I sort of want to represent interaction here. He's still doing nothing. Alright. Well, I guess we're just gonna jam all the pressure in the world now. Can't kill him this turn. Next turn I would have lethal by emptying my auras out. I think I'm fine just attacking like this. I do want like a contingency plan for if he does just make me sack my creature. Alright, we finally have our Force of Negations. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and play out the Ethereal Armor here. And we'll pass the turn, discard a land. It's all fine. Seasoned Pyromancer? Yeah, not at all scary. We got the Spirit Mantle here. So we can just push straight past it. He also only has 1 mana up currently. Discarding double Dreadbore. Was he just full of creature removal this whole time? Alright, sure. Well, let's just go ahead and cast a Daybreak Coronet. Cast a Spirit Mantle and attack for the win. Alright, bargain. Maybe I was like a little bit more conservative there than what I needed to be, but I really wanted to try and avoid the blowout. Alright, so Mardu. This is like going to be sort of a funny-ish place because we're going to want both Leyline and Force of Negation. Normally against black decks, I board in Leyline and board out counter magic because it's like you might be talking about a traditional Jund and they're a little bit grindy. Card disadvantage is generally speaking bad. Excuse me. Cartouche seems oddly okay. I think maybe we can trim on a Hyena Umbra, remove our paths, and then maybe even remove a Staggering Insight as well, just for efficiency. Alright. So, I think we keep this. I mean, opponent could just Thoughtseize it away, but that game he was on the plane didn't have Thoughtseize, so... Alright, he's got Thoughtseize. Well, Inquisition. Alright, hopefully we find a creature, no creature, land down, pass turn. We probably have like a good 2 turns to find a creature, and then after that point we just pretty well lose. Magmatic Channeler, this card's pretty slow. I wonder if we see the Lightning Skelemental now. Discarding Fatal Push. Exiling lands? Sure. Ooh, he gets to ramp his mana. Liliana? Yeah, fuck off, man. Alright, well, that's important information. I don't think we're winning this one. We might find, like, runner creatures. But we haven't hit any counter magic. Alright, I'm just going to concede this. We'll just jump to sideboarding. Trim our deck around a little bit. Anything we want to change. Alright, so this looks like a decent 6. We're going to keep it. Just ditch the island. And get going. Lead on the Hallowed Fountain here. I may potentially want to fetch a basic with the Flooded Strand to play around Blood Moon. Turn 1 discard. Alright, well, he's not getting anything hugely valuable here. He gets to choose between Ethereal or Aqueous Form. Aqueous Form being the different effect. I think if he has trouble dealing with like a 4 power unblockable creature, he pretty well takes the Aqueous Form every time. Alright, so we'll get the basic here. Jam down now, double Ethereal Armor, start attacking. Hopefully we hit a card draw aura and, you know, start to cause some issues for them that way shortly. Alright, just Triome Land, all good. Alright, so Sierra, casually trying to learn MTG effects and game plan. I know how to play, just not how the game is, you know? Yeah, well, things are like always sequenced really, really awkwardly in Magic, right? So my friend and I, we used to have a game would play with like lots of different effects and triggers, and you'd just have a deck with like different keywordings, and whoever would miss a trigger first would just lose. Alright, well, opponent has Liliana, and we've drawn nothing but mana, so like we're pretty boned at this point. I don't know. Like, we literally drew nothing. We didn't even draw an extra aura to like amass any pressure. Discarding Sentinel's Eyes here is fine because we can recast it from the graveyard. Yeah, there's lots of new mechanics brought out every set as well, right? So that can make things pretty hard. Interesting way to learn the game. Yeah. A lot of it can be practice, playing different decks, playing different formats, or you can specifically target things like with an effect like that. Alright, we do find a creature here, but like, I mean, opponent just negs the Liliana and we lose it. At least you'll lose the Liliana at that point. I might send him a text message and see if I can get the actual name of the game. So you can look it up at some point. So, goodbye, Stalker. We draw like Force of Negation just on time here. Like, this is a pretty big waste of time here. We have 8 answers to Liliana of the Veil, but none of them were in hand. And we didn't draw any of them, so whatever. We'll just take it. Alright, so your favorite thing about Magic is flavor and how they manage it on simplified cards. That part's really interests me the most. Yeah, the flavor text gets pretty cool. I've never been super into it, not like as much as like some of my friends have been. But there's definitely like credit where it's due, right? Alright, so match number 2 here, versing Floor File MTG. We got a pretty reasonable hand here. We're gonna keep. So with Force of Negation, we can actually pitch our Invisible Stalker to the Force of Negation to counter a critical spell. Otherwise, it's going to be attack for 3, draw a card, and get everything going. Okay. So Sierra, the name of the game was called Judge Cube. Alright, so we'll go ahead. I'm just going to fetch... I think fetching planes is still okay here. No, I'll get the Hallowed Fountain. I'll pay a bit of extra life. I don't think my opponent's on a deck where that's going to punish me too much. Ethereal Armor normally, like, provokes a counterspell. Curious Obsession also normally provokes a counterspell. Alright, so just say a bit of a thank you. Wow, so he actually, he counters the Curious Obsession there with a Narset, and Narset stops me from drawing more than 1 card a turn, so that's sort of, like, ironic, in a way. Alright, we lose Curious Obsession, that sucks. Maybe I could have led on Curious Obsession and then looked to play something else. Probably goes for the Thoughtseize here, like, I guess we just counter it. It's not like a very good use of Force Negation. Maybe I'm supposed to hold it in hand there. What's the best he takes? Like Hyena Umbra, but I don't have like a fast clock if I can't resolve Hyena Umbra. Drawing Sentinel's Eyes is a really good draw. Cast it from the grave if need be. Ups my clock to 6 power here. Alright, so still a 4-turn clock technically, but if my opponent fetches... No, 3-turn clock, 3-turn clock. I can math, I swear. Flavor as effects, not as flavor text. Oh, okay, right. You normally play... is that Yu-Gi-Oh? YGO? Or at least did the idea of flavor is like 300 words. Magic's idea of flavor is 17. Yeah, right. Yu-Gi-Oh got like pretty intense there for a while, right? Like, it's pretty wild. I don't think I'm supposed to play Bogle here, but maybe I am. It plays around Liliana of the Veil, but like playing it here, but they didn't play Liliana of the Veil last turn, so they'd have to draw it this turn, which is possible to blow us out and stop us from winning. Other than that, I think we're just fighting Cryptic Command. Opponent Archmage's Charm to draw 2 cards. I remember with like Yu-Gi-Oh, I obviously watched the show a little bit as a kid and eventually came back to it a little bit later on in life, after having learnt Magic to a semi-reasonable level in my opinion. And I just picked up this card and went, this is absolutely like bonkers. As soon as you get like a critical analysis hat on, you can dissect cards really, really well. And it was Penguin Soldier. So like Penguin Soldier, you put it in defense mode, face down, whatever. And when someone attacks it and it gets flipped, it bounces the creature to the hand. So like your opponent spends like 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons and a Polymorph card to bounce a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, to create a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and then you just bounce it to their hand when it attacks you. And they're down 4 cards and can't play Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon again. Like, it's insane. Like, it's such a powerful effect. Penguin Soldier, lol, nowadays that card would help your opponent more than it would punish him. Yikes. Sounds like a pretty scary place to be right now. Against this deck, it's a blue-black control deck. I'm liking the look of Suppression Field and Surgical Extraction. Both of them seem pretty solid. They can also have discards, so we might want our ley lines. I think like potentially trimming on Force of Negation could be a good move. Although we might want some number of copies of it. Effects like Aqueous Form and Spirit Mantle seem a little bit weaker to me. I don't think we want Tail's End, although we might potentially. Cartouche Solidarity can probably guard as well. Oh wait, we took out 1 too many cards. Let's leave in like 3 Force. So Sierra, it is. They had to come up with 2 other forms of dueling on top of the normal one, you know? Yikes. Well, the combat like phase is sort of similar to Hearthstone, right? You just like, you can sequence it however you want, or am I getting that wrong? Duel links and speed duels, or to rebalance the game, I feel, yeah. I don't know, I think the power creep in Yu-Gi-Oh! Went a little bit bonkers. Like, recently with Magic and Modern, the power creep's gone up pretty significantly, but not to the extent of Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, opponent plays a engineered explosives here. I'm just gonna counter it. I feel like pitching Invisible Stalker's mostly fine. We find another creature just now anyway. Stalker is like a better creature because it doesn't just die to explosives on one. We're going to attack our opponent with double Curious Obsession. Draw 2 cards here. Alright, no other counter magic, but good aura sweep going. One of the cool interactions I have with my deck, it's not like hugely amazing, is like Aqueous Form. Whenever a creature attacks, you can scry one. Scry being look at the top card of your library. You can choose whether or not to leave it on the top or put it on the bottom of your library, so it like filters your next draw. Yeah, alright, so opponent Cling to Dust into Thoughtseize. So you combine that with a Curious Obsession, and you attack and declare attackers and get the scry trigger before you deal damage and get the card draw off Curious Obsession, Staggering Insight. So you can filter your card draw immediately, which is pretty sweet. Alright, so huge hobby of yours though is to relax and write out custom cards based on pop culture or other sources. Help the creative juices flow, you know, and learn things about games where you wouldn't consider otherwise. Yeah, sounds like a pretty reasonable hobby. What do I want to do here? I think I want to just Staggering Insight and get like triple card draw happening. I'll respond to that a little bit more intently in my opponent's turn, sorry. Alright, so hopefully we draw like Land and Hyena Umbra so we can play around the another Engineered Explosives potentially. Or if we draw some counter magic. Alright, well I guess I think I can play the Ethereal Armor here. It might be better to leave it in hand. Also, the hand thing you mentioned with the draw is pretty awesome. Yeah, it's sort of like pretty niche. But I'll take the niche interaction. Yeah, I like to like theory craft some cards that might be printed into my deck to add a little bit more power for the format. Because the format's like very, very powerful. But yeah, I mean, having access to blue, because traditionally this deck just runs green-white. It doesn't have access to counter magic, and it doesn't have any real good access to a card draw aura, right? So like this one adds a power and toughness to my creature, where green-white has Keen Sense, which does the same sort of effect, but it doesn't add any power or toughness. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's pretty significantly weaker in my opinion. That and Staggering Insight is a good 2-mana life gain aura. So when it deals damage, I'll gain life. On top of drawing a card as well. Deck's pretty stacked. There's like 2 main pluses to running the green version of the deck. You get access to a second 1-mana creature called Gladecover Scout, which is just purely green. And you get access to a 1-mana aura called Rancor, which adds 2 power, 0 toughness, and Trample. Trample meaning any damage that your attack is over your opponent's defense will trample over to their life. So this is like a little bit different. Instead of having Trample, I have like the Unblockable here. So they can't block me at all, which is similar but different. Alright, so match number 3 here, versing Trellon. This guy, I'm pretty sure, is a notorious blue Tron player. And this hand's looking pretty decent. Alright, so turn 1 Tron Lamb. Pretty sure he normally streams as well. You might be able to catch the other half of this match if you go look him up on Twitch. Listen to 2 lots of commentary at once. You wrote a hilariously broken card recently by accident, but didn't understand how certain cards are. By the flavor is moi. Not sure if you should feel proud or disappointed or both. What's Tron? Alright, so Tron is... there's these lands called Tron lands, and they add 1 mana unless you control all 3 of them, and then you get 1 land will add 3 mana, and then the other 2 lands will add 2 mana. So 3 lands will create 7 mana instead of 2. And it's pretty strong, pretty broken, all of that sort of stuff. I think we just want to play it safe, get our totem armor down to play around like an Oblivion Stone or something. Opponent's likely going to like just block and shoot us in the face. If I get the card draw, I'd be pretty happy though. Alright, so he is blocking and pinging us. One card I think would be like a really good card design for an aura. Would be like you could sack the aura to interact with either an opponent's spell or an activated or triggered ability. I think that would be a pretty gas thing to have access to. No paper Jarbix. What's wrong with turn 3 and having 7 mana? It's just it's pretty strong. Decks that like access that much mana, they'll usually go for like a planeswalker like Khan the Great Creator. They can have all his dust. They can have a large number of effects which are like really difficult for decks to deal with. I wouldn't say there's like anything wrong with it. I'd say like my most hated thing about Tron is having to deal with oh, sweet, we find Force of Negation. Having to deal with Ugin. Ugin is like the bane of my existence. Also, you pronounce... Oh, your alias is Shershi. Okay, thank you. Duly noted. Alright, so we do have Totem Armor for our opponent's Blast Zone. He goes for Power Plant instead, so he's completing Tron Land here, or Tron Mana. And then leaving up 8 colorless mana right now. Alright, well, I can't attack and hold up Force of Negation. So I can't play Daybreak Coronet and hold up Force of Negation. So I'm just going to attack for 5, draw 3 cards. That should all be pretty strong. And then I think I can pretty comfortably look to play an extra card. I might just play an Invisible Stalker as a 2-mana creature that doesn't die to a Blast Zone effect on 1. Let's see what our opponent goes for now. 8 mana. It's surely got to be an Ugin, so we just force a negation. Walking Ballista? Okay, that's fine. We got the Aqueous form anyway, so our opponent's not going to be able to block us. Not going to be able to block either of our creatures in a moment. Haven't missed a single land drop. Look at us go. All the mana in the world. Alright. So there's a stop on my upkeep. Not sure why. Ethereal Armor is just like a perfect fluky ass top deck that wins us the match here. I guess we can put an Invisible Stalker and then we can put Unblockable on the Slippery Bogle and then we just have lethal. Oh, is my opponent playing with Force of Negation? Let's play a land out first to just play around that a little bit. Alright, so here's our Aqueous form. Unblockable. Opponent concedes. Sweet, alright. Well, normally Blue Tron's the bane of my existence, but with Blue Bogles, who knows? Let's see what happens. I will say these tail ends are going to look like pretty spicy as a side-in against Blue Tron. Brazen Borrow is going to be necessary too. Suppression Field's not too bad. Not a big fan of Surgical Extraction. Now, the difficult decision of what cuts to make. I think Spirit Mantle's fine as like a 2 CMC card. Effects like Sentinel's Eyes seem less important, but then like we can get them back from the graveyard, which is also very, very tempting to me. After they're countered, you can return them, or after they're exploded, you can return them. I think overall our other effects are probably a little bit stronger. Maybe one of our sideboard cards we don't want to board in, and we want to leave some Sentinel's Eyes instead. Not sure how I feel about Suppression Field on the draw. Maybe on the play I'll bring it in. Let's leave the Sentinel's Eyes in for now. Okay, no creature hand, so we throw this. Opponent keeping a 7. Pretty quick keep as well. This hand's like got nothing going for it really. It's got a bit of interaction, but we don't have any auras. I think I'd prefer a hand with auras and no interaction to a hand like this. Alright, so sweet. This hand looks like much, much better. So we can bottom a land, bottom an Invisible Stalker, and we can get into the match. And we can, you know, get past the Chalice of the Void on 1 as well. By playing a Staggering Insight and starting the card draw. Alright, so turn 1 map for my opponent. We find a secondary Bogle. Well, that might be used as Force Negation fodder later on. Let's see. Oh, opponent's got access to Tron mana already. That's a little bit scary. We find Invisible Stalker. That's, well, that's some more Force Negation fodder right there. Let's play our Staggering Insight, get the attack happening, draw a card. Opponent gets the Urza's Tower. That's the 3rd Tron land. Really wanting to draw that Force. Oh my god, we find the Force. That's awesome. Thanks. So my opponent just complimented my deck. Never didn't have it, yeah. My opponent, Trellon, just commented and complimented my deck. Sweet deck, and I'm like, yeah, I normally get negative comments from people, not positive, and he shared the chuckle with that one. Alright, opponent playing a Talisman, a blue-red Talisman, and an Expedition map. This Expedition map can get Blast Zone, but he's also got access to blue mana off the Talisman. I think we're unlikely to want to... we're unlikely to be in a position to cast Force during our turn immediately, so maybe just stopping the interaction's the best route. Well, we find Hyena Umbra, so we just had 2 really ballsy draws in a row. I'll take it. If I knew I had Hyena Umbra, I wouldn't have counted the Expedition map, by the way. But yeah, get to attack for 6 here, draw a card, maybe draw the other Force of Negation again. Alright, just mana, I should be playing that. I've skipped through, I've done the hard skip, oh well. Opponent, Mazebind Tome activation. What do you do with this Scry? Or is it just draw a card and no Scry? Okay, it's just draw a card. Opponent with the Ugin. Yeah, see, this is why I need Force Negation for Ugin. Ugin just, like, blows up my whole board in consecutive turns. Yeah, I think that was bad force. If I draw another 2 invisible stalkers in a row, I can get past my opponent's Ugin finally. I think we're just dead. Realistically. So kind of want to share the key card text for the broken card. Yeah, share it, man. I'm all good with that. That's alright. I'm going to concede this one anyway. This is well and truly lost to Ugin. Still a fan of Suppression Field. Not sure what's going to make room for it though. Maybe Aqueous Form. Another key interaction with the Hexproof tech chassis is Daybreak Coronet. So it reads enchant creature with another aura attached to it. So another aura attached to it means that I have to have an aura like Curious Obsession already on my Bogle, on my creature, before I can enchant it with Daybreak Coronet. So the interaction is if they destroy all other auras attached to your creature, Daybreak Coronet will fall off into the graveyard. And then like you can get effectively like 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 or whatever it might be that way from one piece of interaction. But the cool thing is if you have 2 Daybreak Coronets on your creature and they destroy the other aura, the Daybreak Coronets will hold each other on. So that's not too bad. I think maybe I'll keep 1 Sentinel's Eyes in, keep in 2 Aqueous Forms, bring in the Suppression Fields, trim Sentinel's Eyes, trim Spirit Mantle. Alright, so the card costs triple blue. You do not spend mana to cast blue spells. Instead, you gain that much blue mana. Instead you gain that much blue instead. You still need the correct amount of mana to cast the spells among lands and activated abilities you control. At the end of your turn, take 1 damage for each unspent blue. Okay. So let me see if I can get this straight. We got no creature, we have to mull. This has a creature or 2 creatures. It's definitely a keep. Bottom wise, I think I bottom the Aqueous Form. So like reintroducing a dead mechanic called Mana Burn. It's an interesting concept, but like on an enchantment, I suppose. Alright, so let's Curious Obsession. We can attack our opponent, we get a card draw. We might hit our second land drop and be able to play out a secondary aura in our second main. Oh, opponent got a counterspell here. Alright, so he gets the Condescend off there. That's unfortunate. Power of Gemstone Caverns. No card draw for us this attack. Probably one of the main problems with a card like that, Chessie, is it punishes inexperienced players or like worse players. Like good players might be able to get it to work because they can think about 10 different steps, but new players, it's like very unforgiving for newer players. I think that's why they like did away with Mana Burn. I'm not entirely sure. And in explosives. Alright. Well, let's get in for 1 damage. I'll try a post-combat Hyena Umbra. And if he pops his Blast Zone, I can play my secondary Bogle from hand. Alright, so we'll see what he does. Alright, so our aura resolves on nothing. We play our Slippery Bogle past the turn. So like Engineered Explosives is a very good example of a card that can really stuff up our Daybreak Coronet, the 3/3 aura that needs enabling. Because if they blow up all your 1-mana auras and all you're left with is Daybreak Coronet, it'll just fall to the graveyard. Expedition map. Alright. Crack map. I wonder what he's getting. Academy runes so he can reoccur his explosives. That's pretty frustrating. The mana burn, according to a friend, is inconsequential due to cards that say to add 1 mana of any color or something. So it's almost like you're taking 1 damage anyway. I think I'm supposed to Curious Obsession here, attack, advance my like hand state a little bit. We drew Invisible Stalker, which is good. It's going to be pretty in mana intensive for our opponent to Academy runes. Hopefully we draw Hyena Umbra, some counter magic. We find Hallowed Fountain. I'm willing to shock that one in and play out my Stalker now as well. I'm not sure if you understand what I mean by mana burn. Mana burn would be at the end of any given phase, if there's any mana left in your mana pool, it deals 1 damage to you. Not a mana filtering effects, which takes like more mana than what it produces. Opponent Transmute Talaria West. What's he getting? Chalice of the Void? Yeah, fair play. So playing Chalice of the Void on 1 now. Hopefully I can find a 2-mana aura. Oh, that is a spicy, spicy draw right there. I might get my first chance to actually play Tail's End here. We draw the second one. Alright. We're on reaction now. Not a very fast clock, but we're going to be reactionary now. I think my opponent's got counter magic at the moment. I'm not really wanting to play Daybreak Coronet just this second. I think I'm happy attacking for 3 again, drawing a card, advancing my hand, my resources. Cyclonic Rift on my Curious Obsession. Can I target this? I cannot. Cycle Woodlog Grove doesn't get me anywhere. Alright, we'll just let that happen. We'll deal 2 damage. I'm very happy I didn't go for the Daybreak Coronet now, or else I would have been super blown out just now. I can Tail's End this one. I think that's decent here. Can you fuck off? Why does this keep popping up? Like, this is very frustrating. Get back there and get back in the graveyard. Alright, so we'll Tail's End. We'll counter that effect. My opponent will have to spend mana during his turn if he wants to go for the same thing. So at most you're taking 1 damage anyway. I know what you're saying about mana burn, and my friend showed me a card that changed the mana away from blue for 2, making the absolute most damage you can take from the effect 1, but I see how it overcomplicated the game. Yeah, the game's like pretty complicated as it is, right? Alright, let's go ahead and cycle this Waterlog Grove. So if we find something more impressive, we just find a Seachrome Coast. Alright, so right now, all our 1-mana spells, our auras, our creatures, interaction, they're all going to be countered by Chalice of the Void. Unfortunately. So we're looking for a 2-mana aura, which is essentially Staggering Insight. Hey, Deface Sites, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, man. Explosives on 2. I think we let that resolve. We look to Tails End the activation. Unfortunately, I'm not really drawing too much action here. I think we're going to lose out on the game. Not able to get much damage happening here. It's turn 8. Opponent's on 7. We're sort of getting close to getting them, but opponent's now popping the engineered explosives. I think losing Invisible Stalk is probably okay. Not thrilled about it, but my opponent casting like an Ugin or a Khan is way scarier to me than this. So you're casting Khan the Great Creator. That's another very irritating card. Walking Ballista. Can I target this? I cannot. So I can't target artifacts. Artifacts are not legendary spells. Okay. Oh, finally. Finally. Alright, what do we do? I think I pass the turn and I end step bounce the Chalice. And then I can load up double Curious Obsession, Daybreak Attack. Or maybe just the double Curious Obsession, and then hold up some interaction. So right now I'm holding up Petty Theft. Oh, actually, no, I can flash in the Brazen Burrow here as well, but I might not want to because Walking Ballista can shoot it. So I might want to wait a little while on that part. So we'll cast the Petty Theft, targeting the Chalice of the Void, paying 2 mana. See what our opponent does. Oh, there's a counterspell here by the looks of things. Remand? Sure. So we should just be able to recast this now. Sort of lose out if my opponent has like a Syncopate or something. I think we still sort of have to go for it again. Okay, well that resolved. Brazen Burrow is on exile. If that resolved, I expect my auras to resolve now. And I'm just willing to Curious Obsession and attack my opponent here. I can hold off on Daybreak Coronet until next turn. Unfortunately, playing double Curious Obsession sort of turns me off of double blue. That shouldn't be an issue though. I wasn't going to be able to cast Brazen Burrow anyway. Alright, so opponent moving to block my creature. And then shoot me in the face for 2. Okay. Well, we're getting closer. Turn 10. Holy crap. Alright, so end step, my opponent's... looks like he's putting explosives back on top. Or 4 mana? What's he doing for 4 mana here? Thirst for Knowledge? That's 3. He hasn't got enough mana to like overload Cyclone and Criff. That's 7. Alright, so Academy Runes, get Explosives. Sure. Opponent plays Explosives on 1. Again, I think we want to interact with the activation. Chalice on 1 is fine. Alright, so let's go ahead, play our Daybreak Coronet. He'll probably activate the Explosives in response. We Tails in. And then we should get the win, pretty much. We put him to 1, but then we can cast a Brazen Borrower, and we've drawn 2 cards. Alright, so we can put our opponent to 1, draw 2 cards. Play Brazen Borrower at instant speed if need be. I'm pretty excited to play with Brazen Borrower, or honestly. It's a card I've never had access to. Ethereal Armor, Flooded Strand. What absolute crappy draws. Alright, Ethereal Armor might as well stay in hand. It's just gonna get countered to the Chalice anyway. Alright, well, we've got Brazen Borrower. Let's see what happens. Brazen Borrower feels so good. Flashing it in end step after like an Ugin or something. Oh my god, this is awesome. Opponent going for the Walking Ballista here. I guess he's looking to ping off Brazen Borrower potentially. Talisman. Alright, so Walking Ballista on 1. And then we can play Brazen Borrower and either he has to... Oh, he can block and then shoot, actually. I think I gotta go for it anyway. I might draw an interactive effect. I don't know, maybe it's bad. Maybe I don't go for it. I think he's got me. Damn. I don't think there's a world I win the game there if I don't do that, because I'm out of Tails End. Maybe I could have Flooded Stranded instead of Hallowed Fountain and thin my deck by 1 card. I did draw a non-land card anyway, though. Alright, I'm going to concede this one. Hey, DeFaces, thanks for the host again, man. Appreciate you. Wow, that's 247 viewers, man. That's huge. Thanks so much. Hello to anyone joining us. We are playing some blue-white Bogles here. And we're packing, you know, a bit of a funky list with Curious Obsession for card draw, Staggering Insight for card draw, Force of Negation to interact with our opponents, sideboard suite with Brazen Borrower, Tails End. Lots of spice in this list, lots of stuff. Man, thank you so much, DeFaces. That's so kind of you. Or Deface Sites, sorry. I can at least get your name right if you're being so kind to us. Alright, so we mulligan to 6. His hand's looking pretty solid. We're going to keep this one. And ditch a mana source. Done. And we can get into this one. Opponent on the play. We're on the draw. Where'd my water go? Stay hydrated. Yeah. I guess my opponent's run off to the bathroom or something quickly. We'll be in the match shortly. Oh, okay, Bloodstained Maya. Here we go. Very shortly, in fact. Alright, let's jam down that Bogle and go for it. Alright, opponent Blood Crypt. I wonder if this is Jund or something else. Dredge? Looks like Dredge. Copperline Gorge. Isn't really run by anyone else. So I feel like they've already got 2 Dredge cards in the graveyard. Usually you'll want to counter the Dredge spells, but if I do that I lose Curious Obsession and my hand's not doing much with just Sentinel's Eyes. I think I'm going to risk it and let it resolve, hoping to get 1 attack in and that they blank on Narcomoeba. This is like very risky though. Oh, god damn it. They find Narcomoeba. Pretty big graveyard there. Could I have done this differently? Not really sure. Let's play out the Curious Obsession as well. My opponent's going to block here. We've got a blue card in hand to, I guess, force anything else we need to. But I think my opponent's graveyard's well established enough that we're going to be in a lot of trouble here. I need to find life gain. That's what I need to find. I've got 7 life gain effects in the deck with Daybreak Coronet and Staggering Insight. And currently I also don't have First Strike, so depending on what board he gets, attacking might be an issue. I don't know how much of an impact countering this is going to have, him just getting some lands. We get rid of, like, I guess we get rid of a cycle land, so this is actually somewhat worth. Alright, let's go for it. Find a Waterlog Grove. Alright, we'll cycle that one, see if we can find some better action. Alright, we find Hyena Umbra, First Strike Totem Armor, so attacking for 4. And we finally get our card draw. Let's go. Alright, Draw Train online. Oh, sweet. Curious Obsession 2. Alright, we're going to be drawing hard and fast soon, as long as you can't amass too many blockers. Life from the Loam again. Looks like he got the Forgotten Cave this time. And he's got a way to cycle that Forgotten Cave here. Yeah. Oh, double Creeping Chill and 2 Bloodghasts here. I'm not that concerned about Bloodghast, but they will trigger Prized Amalgam. He won't be able to get them until next turn, so even though my opponent's got a pretty established graveyard, he's actually drawn pretty slow. So we've now got Staggering Insight, and this is going to give us the triple draw here. That's pretty fantastic. We got our lifelink happening as well. Now we almost just need a form of evasion. We got Daybreak Coronet. Alright, this one's in the bag. Opponent can't beat this. We've got too much now. Unless he's main decking Blast Zone, and most of the lists I've seen just run this sideboard. I'm a little confused at the moment, guys. Is there a way that I'm able to view the hosted or the rated people? If anyone on the raid side, I can't see any of your comments if you're commenting at the moment. If someone wants to pop out to my stream and just tell me how to view the raid, I'd be happy to look at that and start commenting on all of that. Maybe it's just an extra extension, like a raid extension. I've got Raider channel added, but that doesn't give me a chat thing. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused about how to do that. I'm really sorry, guys, if that's taking away from the experience. Alright, so opponent Streetcorn with a mill there. Currently he's got Bloodgust in the grave. Ox in the grave. Not going to do much. He's already exiled 3 Creeping Chills. He's only got 1 of those left. Now with Daybreak Ethereal Armor, our life gain is going to be absolutely enormous. He's not going to be able to keep up. We can draw an evasive effect like Aqueous Form or Spirit Mantle as well. That's just going to be even better. Help us close out the game quicker rather than getting all these chump blocks. Alright, so what can we do here? I'm pretty certain my opponent's just going to chump block pretty hard here with an Arcomoeba, but so go ahead, jam down, make a giant Bogle. Attack for 16. Then we'll play the Seachrome Coast because it's forced to come into play tapped. Alright, so all the way up to 27. I don't think my opponent can amass 27, or like 60 damage here. Not in a haste way. So yeah, this game's just a matter of time currently. Opponent concedes. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alright, so here, Graveyard Hate like Surgical Extraction obviously looks very good. I never leave my paths in this matchup, they always come out. Tail's End could be decent, and it seems like it can obviously interact with their Dredge effects, but it can also interact with their Blast Zone, which I'm a pretty big fan of. Did I take out Sentinel's Eyes? We don't want to do that. Cuttish Solidarity that can come out. I like all my evasive effects, although I do need to trim somewhere. Trimming might be on Curious Obsession, might be on a land. We're on the draw. Trimming on a land isn't the worst. Alright, let's trim on one the Windswept Teeth. Alright, no lander. Classic Bogle no lander. The Surgical Extraction would have been a Windswept Teeth and wouldn't have been a great keep, but I think it would still have been a keep. Alright, this hand's looking very, very stacked. We're going to keep this. And just ditch the Waterlogged Grove, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, alright. So Waterlogged Grove is in the grave. How do I pronounce it again? Shesiri. Another cool interaction with Bogles. With the green version of the deck, there's a card called Force of Vigor, and you can exile a green card from your hand to pay the mana cost. Instead of paying the mana cost, you can exile a green card. And where are we with green-white? Here we are. Dryad Arbor actually has green coloring, so if Dryad Arbor is in your hand, there's an actual land that you can get rid of to cast your Force of Vigor for an alternate cost. All your other lands, even though this is blue and white, it's colorless. It's a colorless land. It doesn't have a color assigned. Cathartic Reunion. I mean, we're just countering this. Tail's End can be the card we're ditching. Slow our opponent right on down. Alright, so let's go ahead and I don't think we get punish for conserving life total and getting the planes here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Staggering Insight. Going to get my card draw happening. And then from next turn, I get Unblockable and a Scry every time I attack. Use that to quickly mount a more threatening Bogle. Curious Obsession's a great draw as well. Really good synergy. Alright. Awesome stuff. Alright, now opponent's going from Life from Loam. They are going to get their Dredge this time. I can't stop this one, but we did delay them for a turn, which was enough for us to get our attack in, right? Another Staggering Insight as well. Alright, let's just load up on the card draw. I am absolutely keen on that. Wow, Deface Sites, you've rated me again, or hosted me now for 639 viewers. Thank you so much. Let me know how your stream went. I'm really curious. Also, if you can let me know how to view the hosters, like view your viewers' comments, because currently I can only see my own chat. I'd really appreciate that. Excuse me, guys. I've added a hosting you section, but I still can't see any chats or anything on that. I wonder what else I can add. Stream info, mod actions, active mods, auto queue, reward request queue, stream health, all stats added. I can't see anything else I can add there. Bloodcast, landfall trigger. I guess I'll just add watch party and see if that does anything. Alright, so we find Daybreak Coronet now. That's pretty overpowered. Let's go ahead. Cast our Daybreak Coronet, cast our Aqueous Form, attack for 7 unblockable, draw another 3 cards after scrying 1, gain all the life. Yeah, let's put that one on top. That's Blast Zone protection right there. Opponent concedes. He's had enough. All right, 3-1. Let's go. Oh, sorry, 2-2. All right, getting ahead of myself. Yeah, we lost twice, right? My bad. My bad. Getting a little overly excited here. Hosting you. I've got a hosting you thing up here, but not really sure what's going on. Yeah, currently on my screen, I've got my own chat here. I've got the activity feed. I've got the hosting you section here. I can't see anything right now. I'm really sorry. I need to look into how to do this properly. Sorry if it's taking away from the experience. Alright, so match 5 here versus TCG Shin. We lost the Darryl. We're going to be on the draw. Hand's looking pretty solid, so we're going to keep. Maybe if I refresh the page, that might do something. Opponent leads on Wooded Foothills. Hasn't seemed to have. Wait, edit stream things. What are these other things that have popped up real quick? Alright. Opponent cracking Wooded Foothills in response. For a Sheltered Thicket, is Escape Shift we're versing? Alright, so it is looking like Scape Shift that we're versing here. Once we get our lifelink online, we're going to be in a really good spot here. I think I'm just going to attack into my opponent with my Bogle. If he wants to take the tribe for his like mana acceleration, like take the trade with his mana acceleration here, he can. He's just going to sack it in response though. It's not worth disrupting his own game plan. I'm going to then second main an Invisible Stalker to get around these types of effects again in the future. And then I can go in an Invisible Stalker and he's unblockable. I can't get my damage sort of fogged like that. Explore. I wonder if I go to Streamlabs if I can view all that information for everyone else. Alright, so let's get some white mana. We need triple white here. We've got another basic plains in the deck here. So we can pretty comfortably go ahead, Hyena Umbra, Daybreak Coronet, and attack our opponent for a little bit, gain a little bit back. Hopefully we run into an Ethereal Armor and can gain some serious life. Recent events. Opponent gets the prime time. That's better than the Scape Shift that just combos off for the win, in my opinion. Yeah, very confused on how to view all that information. Alright, well, we've played around Field of the Dead as well, inadvertently. That's really, really good for us. And we've got a big enough creature to get to block Primeval Titan as well. So we're in a position where we can kill our opponent over a few turns. And 1 damage off killing him next turn as well. That's my opponent cracking Windswept Heath worth of damage. So here if we attack, we definitely block the Primeval Titan. We'll gain another 6 life. My biggest concern is if he does Scape Shift, if he has like 4 Valakults plus 5 lands, we're just never beating that much damage here. Also, we're taking actually 2 more damage than what life we're gaining anyway. So I guess we just can't beat Scape Shift is all it comes down to. Search for Tomorrow. Really looks like he's setting up for it. Alright, cool. Well, my opponent's definitely going to have the damage here. We'll just wait and see that he's actually got like 3 Valakuts in the deck, and then obviously he's going to have enough damage from that point. We won't make him go through the triggers after that. So 2 mountains entering. So with this interaction, right? All right, so it's all there. So with this interaction, so Scape Shift makes you sack like any number of lands you want. All the lands enter simultaneously. Goodness, this is a little bit in the way. When Valakult, so whenever a mountain enters the battlefield under your control, if you control at least 5 other mountains, you may have it deal 3 damage to any target. All these mountains enter simultaneously. He's got 7 mountains entering. He's got Valakult there. He gets 21 triggers of 3. So let's jump into sideboarding now. Haven't versed the Titan Shift version really before. Usually I'm not a fan of Leyline of Sanctity because my opponent can force a Vigor it. Not sure how I feel about Path. Path is probably important because Dryad of Lycian Grove exists. I'm seeing like very little that I actually want. Like maybe suppression field's okay on the play because they have a decent number of fetch lands and tribe scouts. Yeah, maybe. I'm not like in love with that idea either. Brazen Borrower I can't really see being good most of the time. I think we could pretty comfortably just remove Aqueous Form. That card's pretty junk here. Yeah, I guess we just run suppression fields and paths. I don't think we want Tails End. And I can't really justify Leyline. 2-mana creature here in a relatively painless hand, but it's a 2-mana creature and we haven't got fast auras and we don't have any counter magic. I think we have to mull this. This hand's looking a lot better. I'm going to keep this one. We'll ditch the Invisible Stalker. This hand's a little bit painful, but at least we have a good clock with it. We got the Coronet there. We got Force of Negation for interaction. Just need to find a blue card. We find suppression field here. I think on the balance of things, it's more worthwhile playing the Hyena Umbra and attacking. I want to get life gain on Daybreak Coronet online like as soon as possible. Looks like he's suspended a second search for tomorrow anyway, so we haven't really been punished there at all. Find Path to Exile. Alright, let's get our life gain happening. And then we can look to be, I guess, a little bit more interactive with our opponent. So one search coming off suspend, the other one time counter ticking down to 1. Dryad of Lycian Grove. Well, we've got the Path to Exile for Dryad of Lycian Grove. And we've got the Force of Negation. Sweet. Alright, so I don't really feel a need to play Suppression Field here. I think holding up Path is just fine. And if the opponent wants to shoot me in the face for 3 damage here, I'm not that concerned about that one. If he plays like a Primeval Titan or something, I'll probably Path the Dryad of Lycian Grove in response to the landfall triggers. Sure, whatever. Take that. Don't care. Take that. Don't care. Summoner's Pact. I'm going to say a big fat no to this one. Escape Shift. Sure, let's see how greedy he gets with this lot. I actually just screwed myself over. Really, really hard. Maybe he does this slightly wrong and doesn't quite have 5 mountains because he gets all 4 Valakuts. I think I've just screwed myself over pretty badly here though. He's playing safe. That really sucks. That really sucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we punted this really hard with our force. I thought getting rid of the Primeval Titan was priority number 1, but obviously not. Million triggers still. Damn, that sucks. That was close though. That was a good leg. I definitely like the addition of Brazen Borrower. That was like really, really gas. We saw Tails End come into play a little bit too. Having 4 Force of Negation makes like such a difference as well. Alright, so I'm going to keep on streaming, but for those of you watching on YouTube, that's going to be it for today's video. 3-2. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below. New additions. I hope you enjoy the quality of life improvement as well. Have a great day. I'll see you all next time.